My name is Adam Welch. I've been bartending for over 10 years in the heart of the Napa Valley, always sourcing the most local, sustainable ingredients.
My name's James. I just like to drink.
Adam.
James.
Bar stories.
What'd you say?
Bar stories.
I thought you said something else.
Do it again.
Whatever you want to do with your hands, just put them up.
As long as you leave them on the table so we can see what you're doing.
Oh,
Jesus. Dude.
And you got gum in your mouth. You want to keep your gum? Or you want to lose your gum? You might have some chewing. Did you just swallow it?
Yeah, I can swallow it.
Was that not supposed to swallow?
You don't have to swallow it.
What are you rocking? Juicy
I'm good.
fruit?
No, Mentos.
Mentos.
Dude, the Fresh Maker.
But
I didn't know they still made Mentos.
Mentos gum, but go with 2 pieces. Do yourself a favor.
Double piece?
You know what?
That's an insider tip.
I can't just do one piece of gum. Can you just do one piece of gum?
I don't chew gum anymore.
Why don't you chew gum?
Because I have to swallow it every time.
Why do you have to swallow it?
I don't know. It's like a weird thing.
But that's
I
not
have
bad.
To. No, it is. Yeah. Then I was told when I was a kid that you digest
When
for
you're a
like
kid, right.
1,000
Okay,
years
that's-
after you're dead.
Do you step?
That's not true.
No, that's
I don't-
true, dude. It's
do
all
you,
science.
do you step on a crack too?
Yeah, no, I'm not that anal.
You should see his
Because-
mom's back.
I know.
It's all fucked up.
Seriously. If you make,
Where are we going with this?
If you step on a crack, you break your mom's back.
I know that's
they tell you that when you're a kid and you're perfectly fine stepping on crack.
Yeah, but the gum thing seemed like it would be more. There's like
Real.
a better chance of that being real.
No, it's not.
Okay.
You still poop it out.
Yeah,
good to know.
it's got to go. Where's it going to hang out for 7 years?
No, because it's like so sticky and it's like made out of like rubber. So when you're
man.
digesting, your body's like, "What is this shit?" And it just stays in there forever, dude.
Remember when they used to say that acid would stay in your spine for like 12
Yeah, I
years?
believe
yeah.
that too. See, that's the kind of
Yes.
shit I believe.
I know it.
My spine is fucked.
I didn't do acid that much. I've done it, but not that much.
Every once in a while, it's okay.
The first time I did acid, I told everyone that I'd already done acid before.
And you hadn't.
And then, because I didn't want to be a loser,
Right.
right?
Good for you.
So then when it really started kicking, all the people that had done a lot of acid, like, this is really strong. And I'm like, oh, shit. And I still couldn't tell anybody it was my first time. I'm just like freaking out.
And they're all looking to you to be like the spiritual guide.
Yeah, no one.
Oh, James has done a lot.
Yeah, no, let's go to James. We need help, James. We're freaking out.
The best thing is that we videotaped it. So somewhere out in the world, there is footage of me in high school doing acid for the first time.
Listeners,
being a
if you
freak.
find that or if anybody has any kind of link to that, please, I would love to see it.
Ugh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bar Stories Podcast. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Adam. Across from me is the lovely James Simmons.
Hey, everybody.
And our guest today is Bryan Bergman from the Parish Cafe.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, man.
So
How's it
happy
going,
It's
to
like we're
get
just
you on.
old friends hanging out
Dude,
today.
this is
What?
real shit.
Couple
It's
of
gonna be-
dudes.
yeah, it's a couple guys up
Yes.
to no good.
So the Parish Cafe, proud sponsor of the podcast. We
Proud
love having
sponsor.
them. How was your shift today? I saw you today. I was at the Parish Cafe.
You were.
Oh, I had the eggs Benedict with crab.
Dude, it's fire.
It was slow today, but
Slow?
that's all right.
It seemed like it was happening to me.
It was all right.
Can't you lie? There's like
yeah.
millions of people listening to this, bro.
Hey, I had to wait 20 minutes for a table. I had to wait 20 minutes.
No, it was a good day. It was. It's awesome down there. I mean, for me, busy days and slow days. I mean, for Sunday, we're used to a little bit more, but I don't know. Who knows what the football games do and stuff like
Dude,
that.
that's right.
Football throws an audible on anything going on Sundays because definitely.
Did you guys ever think about getting TV in there?
No.
I remember at Goose and Gander, I was working there once, and like they had this like super little like tiny cave bar downstairs. Have you ever been, James?
Well, do Goose and Gander downstairs?
Yeah, the bar downstairs.
Yeah.
So like they
Not allowed upstairs.
They legit,
too nice
don't go
up there.
upstairs. They legit brought in a TV and it's like put it over this like gorgeous fireplace like during the Super
Yeah.
Bowl one time, and I was like, this is weird.
I used to work there
Did you?
when it was Martini
At
House.
Goose? Oh yeah, when it was Martini House. That's
Yeah,
right.
it was Awesome
Full
building.
circle. So you've been in the Valley like how long? Give us a little background on Bryan Bergman.
All right.
Sexual preference?
He's trisexual. He only has sex with triceratops.
Me too.
Those horns.
My folks met in the 50s. No, we're not going to go back. We're not going to go back that far. Sorry.
They had unprotected sex.
No, I came out here. I came out when I was 24. And when I think about it, I've been in California for more than half my life.
Where'd you come
But
from?
Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
And Atlanta was awesome, but I was working for a chef as a waiter, and I used to throw ideas off him. He said, "Oh, you should be in the kitchen." And I said, no, I know how much money I'm making on the floor. So he said, well, look, I got a buddy that just opened a restaurant in St. Helena. He'll teach you how to cook. And so I was only supposed to stay out here for a summer season. That was in 90, no, I don't know when it was.
So you moved here for a cooking job?
Yeah,
Did you drive or did you fly?
I drove.
Of course. That's what you do in the 20s. You don't get on airplanes in your early 20s.
It was in St. Helena?
Yeah.
Where was it?
Brava Terrace, right by Two Birds, same parking lot.
Oh, wow.
So, and
Crazy.
I worked there for a while, and then met my future ex-wife, and left there and went back to Atlanta for the Olympics, and
You were in the Olympics?
I was in the Olympics.
I was an Olympian. Swimming?
Yes.
The story's getting
Pole vaulting.
deeper. I
went back for the Olympics. I was training and we were partying really hard in Atlanta. That was an awful lot of fun.
There's no booze in that, but you should try it. This is my new favorite thing.
I'll try it. Keep going.
Yeah.
And I worked for a chef in Atlanta. I had stopped cooking and went back to waiting tables, so I worked for a chef in Atlanta, and that was an awesome job. But then we just kind of got sick of it. We wanted to come back to California. She's from Napa Valley. And then ended up coming back and just worked at a ton of restaurants. I mean, you probably know them. I helped open Pinot Blanc. I worked at Mustards. Then I opened my own place.
Isn't that a Sidney Paulson place, Mustards?
Yeah, I was there. That was an awful lot of fun.
Yeah. It was big party time. Yeah, we actually have the camera set up now. So.
Oh.
Can't undo that. Permanent damage there. Anyway, okay, let's move on.
It was an awful lot of fun there. And but I ultimately invited my brother out here, and we opened up a restaurant in '98. Bergman's Restaurant.
No kidding.
Yeah, so that was a blast at 1234 Main Street.
Yeah, so what's there now?
A clothing store.
Just for people. Okay, so this is in St. Helena. It's like across from like the Mart there, like
it's a
Sunshine.
No, it's right on. It's a little bit down from Market, across the street and down the street from Market.
On the same side as Market.
No, across the street.
Cross, got it.
And it was a cool place. It was a great idea. It was ahead of its time. I was a trailblazer. Not really. But
people would come in, they'd order food.
Yeah, people
would come to your table.
So we had this thing on the menu.
We had iPads.
Menu. Go on.
Let me regale.
But I mean, back then there probably weren't. I mean, St. Helena's it's a small town now. It's probably a small town back then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then what was? Can I ask what
Smaller.
retail space was? What did it go for there? If you can remember.
Well, it was Trilogy before us, and Trilogy was this prefix menu place, and then we went in there, and again we got killed a little bit. It was a real meat and three. It was a southern restaurant, like 5 different entrees, and then pick your own vegetables. So you'd say, man, I'll have the meatloaf, mashed potatoes, carrots, and green beans.
Meatloaf.
Yeah.
And it was
southern.
And it was
I like
biscuits and cornbread to the table. We didn't have a dessert menu because we couldn't commit.
Dessert's overrated, dude.
Yeah.
Just do ice cream. Or...
But we had desserts, but we just didn't want to have them written down because then we'd have to make them every day.
Yeah.
And so we'd have things like pudding.
Today we have the cookie.
So all desserts were $5, but if you wanted one bite of dessert, that was $1. And
you know what? Sometimes that's all you want is just a bite of something sweet at the end.
Dude, that is ahead of its time.
Right?
That is awesome. That's really smart.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
One bite of dessert. And we ended up getting reviewed by the Press Democrat. He didn't really like it. He didn't get it.
Yeah.
Said, can the Bergman brothers compete with the French Laundry and Auberge de Soleil? No. They're like a long-haired rock group in a room full of symphonies.
Oh.
So,
Dude,
we were talking about that with Nick just on the last episode, how back then, and what year, this is the mid-90s, I think you said it was. I mean, back then we didn't have Yelp, we didn't really have even have Facebook, and we really relied on these reviewers to come in and be the voice for kind of everybody. And it was like, if you had a bad review, you were
it was an awful lot of fun. Sometimes people would come just to see how weird it was. And I mean, we stayed open late. We were the only place you could smoke and have a beer after work. We thought we'd do a lot more restaurant people because I was pretty well known in the restaurant circles. I thought waiters after work would come there.
Yeah, for sure.
And they did to some point, but I mean, it was tough. And St. Helena's a tough market. It's expensive as hell.
Yeah.
And we stood on that mountaintop for a long time.
Yeah.
We were broke. But it was a blast doing it.
Yeah.
and they probably learned a lot.
I'd like to think that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
still look at it as a big failure.
I kind of look at my whole life as a big failure.
Dude,
too.
the St. Helena crowd though is kind of tough. Like,
It's
everybody's
horrible.
dad owns a winery.
But
you know,
I thought it was going to be so unique. I thought this was it, and it was a good idea. And even Nick will tell you, we're the new Bergmans. Bergman's was ahead of its time. I mean, you look what Cindy did at Cindy's Backstreet Kitchen.
I love that place.
Right.
Just
They
closed.
just closed.
Did it close?
Yeah.
a couple months ago.
That was like my jam when I'd go from Sacramento back home to Geyserville. I'd always swing in there and like.
Polenta fries, bro. The
But
polenta
I
fries.
just went for the drinks.
I helped open that place, and then she changed it to do what Bergman. She started doing meatloaf. She started doing vegetables, all fresh vegetables. I mean, she really kind of changed. Market was I don't think they ripped us off. I mean, certainly Doug and Nick.
Yeah, right. They
Oh, see, I didn't know.
they were involved, right?
Don't need to rip off Bryan Bergman, but
Right.
St. Helena needed that kind of restaurant because I said we didn't serve people dinner, we served them supper. If you had the balls to ask for seconds, I'd give you seconds. If you let my brother hold the baby, free dessert. So
If he takes home the baby, that's another issue.
If he
get a
runs
gift,
away.
yeah, gift certificate.
You get a free gift card.
But then when that closed, I had to go to I went back to Wait and Tails, and Martini House was just opening up, and I helped open that place. That was awesome job.
Yeah.
And then
They got a Michelin star, didn't they?
they might have.
I think they did at
But
some
Todd
point.
was a great chef. I got along great with him, but he was frustrated working with Pat Culetto and that when that whole thing. But I left in 2005. Divorce was finalized. I moved over with my brother to Sonoma, and Cyrus was just opening up. Or Cyrus, I think, had been open 3 months, and
So you met Nick at Market.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Cyrus used to be closed. I think either just Wednesday.
I think it was Tuesday,
Wednesday.
At least when I was there.
Yeah. Yeah, but in the beginning, I think they were only open 5 shifts, so they only needed one crew. And then they were going to open up 7 days a week. So that opened up essentially 8 captain shifts. So they needed one more captain. And I went in and interviewed, and they hired me. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And like I said, so they opened up in March of 05. I came on in June of 05. And those guys never let me forget it either. Like, oh, you weren't here in the beginning, bro.
Yeah.
Like, oh, please, give me
You
a
don't know
break.
what it took, bro.
Yeah.
That's what happened to Jason Newsted in Metallica.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
He was always being
Yeah,
hazed.
yeah, exactly.
That's why he had to leave the band.
He's been in the band for like 15 years. They're like, yeah, you're still the new guy, dude.
Yeah, Ron Wood's still the new guy in the Stones.
Right.
But at the end, it's true. I was still the newest waiter when they closed, and that speaks volumes, I think, of that place.
Everyone stayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I first started there, I was like, I just felt so in over my head because everybody had been there since the beginning. And they're like, this is how we do it. And it was such a well-tuned machine. I remember like those lineups we used to do. And like Nick would stand up there and like Doug or Drew would come out and go over a dish. And Nick would just like sit there and literally like, I would look at him like, he's not writing anything down. Like he would just absorb it. Like he would
Yeah.
absorb it all. And I'm sitting there, I got 2 pages of notes on like one fucking
I can't
Shiso
handle-
Joshy Gillet.
I can't hand people that remember everything. I
can't
gotta
handle
write
it.
shit
Well,
down. I'm a writer down. Or when
me
I give a
too.
long list to like a waiter, I'm like, we're gonna have this, we're gonna have the chicken, we're gonna have lasagna, then we're gonna have this, and we're gonna have drinks, and then I want this, and then they're like, okay, and they walk away. I'm all,
He's going to get something wrong.
I get afraid, but then when they get it all right, I'm all right.
You're on your shit.
But then when they get it wrong, I'm like,
See?
should have wrote it down.
You
Listen-
fucked up, sir.
You're not. Nick would always say this. You're not trying to impress anybody when you remember it. Write it down. He really.
We want you to get the.
He'd rather get you right. You're not trying to impress these people. These people are spending $300 a person.
Do your
But
fucking job.
Nick taught me a lot. But as far as like the lineup would go, it was a huge learning curve. But there was a time when all of a sudden you got it, and it happened about 2 weeks or a month into it, where like
6 months.
yeah, or 6 months for. But you realize that you don't need to remember it all. You can remember little bullets. I remember the cheese card. I would look.
That
at,
was another one, dude.
I thought, how in the fuck do these people
Yeah.
know so much about cheese?
Wait,
I thought-
they'd have a cart
So
they
they-
bring out.
Go ahead,
What
Brian.
would
So
it do?
It was a cart about this size, and it was a cheese card. Nick, every restaurant that Nick Payton, this is an extension of the Nick show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every restaurant that Nick would work at, he'd have a cheese card. He was really responsible in the Bay Area for bringing cheese as a course.
It's a lot of pressure.
And so there'd be all these cheeses, and I thought, here I am thinking, oh, I'm a fucking good waiter, man. I mean, employee of the year of many restaurants. That's what I am, Bryan motherfucking Bergman.
That's right.
That's who you're getting. And I would look and say, how the hell did these people know? I felt like I didn't study. And you look at this cheese cart, and then you realize it's just all a secret. It's a game, right? Goat cheese over here, sheep's milk, cow's milk. You know, and then if you know that, then you can just sort of do big broad brush strokes like a weatherman. It's partly sunny over here.
Yeah. Right.
And then if you remember 1 or 2 goat cheeses, 1 sheep's milk, and 1 or 2 cow's milk, just remember the name.
Yeah.
Then you control the cheese presentation when you're at the table. You know what? If you're all right, I'm going to make you a cheese. Some of my favorites here. I like to do 2 goat cheeses. I like to do 1 sheep's milk, and how about a blue cheese and a hard cow's milk?
That sounds great, Brian. I'll take that.
I got a question. Is that what you would really eat, or are you just making that up?
I'm just making it up.
I always thought everyone was, oh, you know what I liked? I'm like, do you really eat here?
It was all theater.
Or chef's like, hey, this is going bad. Push this shit.
That's why I never get the special, by the way. I'm always like, what's going on with the lobster?
Special?
It was all theater, but I mean, and that's what it was in the beginning. There was a learning curve, and then they're giving these dishes. It sounds like they're making up words, and you just finally get to this point where, like, you know what, I can remember a couple of things about this dish.
Yeah, I just remember once in lineup, Nick, he didn't ask me a lot of questions like during lineup. He was kind of like, you know, like the wounded deer. Like, I'm gonna let somebody else let another lion take that one down. Too easy. But he would, like, one time he asked me like a cheese on the cart, and the cart was like biggest anxiety for me. And he turned and he was like, "Do you know what that is?" And I knew it. And I fucking knew that one. It was crazy.
He was like, all right, you just got to nod.
Because I would look over the cheeses before we went in. Like, I always had a little notepad, and I'd be like, fuck, I'm never going to remember these. I hope he doesn't call me. And there was like this one, boom, and it was like Coulier or something, and I knew it. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, I'm going to leave you alone for a while.
But your fly's down.
Yeah.
And your
compact's open and your lipstick's hanging out. You know what I'm saying?
So you were, when did you make your big move over to healdsburg?
It was then, so 2005. Or no, I lived in Cotati, and then about a year later moved up to healdsburg. And yeah, I mean, Cyrus was it. That was like the equivalent of a minor league ball player getting called up to the majors. That's what it was like to me. That was the show, and I was gonna retire there. That was gonna be awesome.
I got a question for both of you guys that worked there, because I didn't live in the area when Cyrus was like the mecca, and you still hear about it all the time. How does a restaurant? Maybe you guys don't know the answer. Maybe you do, but how does a restaurant at that stature, like, how does a place like that close?
Well,
I'm sure there's some politics. I'm sure there's something, but I don't know the story, but I know. I mean, this restaurant comes up all the time.
we should ask Nick this.
Yeah,
I know, Nick.
Now it's like, what should I say?
No, because I wanted to ask Nick, and then I forgot. We were doing shots of tequila or something.
I think it's pretty common knowledge.
I got this one, Brian.
All right.
Not it.
I think it's pretty well known that just had landlord issues.
Okay.
They didn't. If it was, we were on top, slated to maybe get a 3rd star. It was. We went out on top. It didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't decline.
They had like 10 years, I believe, left on the lease when they left, so they could have stayed there as long as they wanted. It wasn't like, isn't that right?
I think it was a 30-year lease. That was what I was always told. And so at 7 years into it, but so the guy that bought the hotel, in his defense, didn't have a kitchen. He couldn't do room service. He couldn't do breakfast for his guests. He couldn't have a wedding. I mean, we were just a dinner restaurant at the lobby of the Lamar's Hotel. And
you can't do like brunch and like room service when you're at that level, you know?
Right.
And you don't have to. It's
no,
like, it's
that's
their
not
space.
your job.
Yeah.
Well, didn't he buy the hotel after the place was already there?
Yeah.
Well, then fuck him.
Well, yeah.
It's like complaining next to the airport. Well, the airplane's really loud. Well, you moved.
I think that was the
airport.
general like consensus. Was,
Yeah.
like, fuck
Okay,
him.
so they were fighting, and then the landlord sided with the hotel because they're more revenue.
No. The landlord
Was the hotel guy?
was the hotel guy.
Oh, then you're fucked.
And he just sort of had.
It's over.
And again, I don't. Well, that's all. We'll just leave it there. I don't want to speak out of school. I just think
That's all we do on this podcast. Speaking out of school.
I just think they could have said, you know, what do I, you know, maybe they threw out some crazy number, and this guy has a ton of money, and they said, when can you be out? We'll be out at the end of October.
I remember
was,
them being
yeah.
like, "Yeah, we're never like we're fine. Like we're never gonna leave." Like when I first got hired on, I was like, "Is there any like, am I gonna have like job stability here?" Because there's like rumors going around and stuff, and they were like, "Dude, you got nothing to worry about. Like we're not going anywhere. We don't have to go anywhere." And then one day it was like, "Hey,
yeah, I mean,
we got a few months here, and we're gonna move on to the next adventure." So I can only assume that it was a mutually beneficial like agreement between the two of them.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I got the story because, I mean, I've just been here at the restaurant for my whole existence here in Sonoma County. I was wondering what happened to him. And I've always heard a rumor of a second one, but you guys don't have info on that. But
You heard any rumors about that, Brian?
there's been rumors for years, like a new one popping up.
Oh yeah, and again, I think they're pretty open about it. I think they got on tribal land up in Geyserville.
Right.
And I think they've signed a lease. I don't think they've broken ground.
Right.
But I mean, there was something in Bike Club even that said 2019
Yeah,
Cyrus 2.0 coming.
The problem with the tribal land is that the ghosts of the Indians of the past haunt the restaurant.
Right.
Which is
So you gotta get an exorcist,
But
but you have to have an exorcist that can speak Native American language because they
true.
don't know what they're saying in the Catholic when they just come in all like, oh, blah, blah, blah.
I feel like
Yeah,
I can
do it right.
Hey.
That's racist.
Yeah, it is racist. Okay, never mind.
No, that's not racist. That's just having fun.
See now, what can you say these days? I don't even know. 2018.
you can
I'm
say
walking
that.
over eggshells here.
Dude, look at them all. You're walking on broken glass. You're like Sigourney Weaver. That makes no sense.
Alien.
Bruce Willis.
I always thought that Anna Leibovitz, what's her name? Annie
Lennox.
Potts. Annie Lennox. I always think Sigourney Weaver looks like Annie Lennox. I think Sigourney Weaver should play Annie Lennox if they do an Annie Lennox movie, but why would they do an Annie Lennox movie? Adam doesn't know what I'm talking about.
That's correct.
He gets that look in his eye. Oh my God, I was at the bar. Did I tell you this? And I was with Spencer. Maybe it was Ryan. I don't know who it was, but I'm like, man, you really got to get Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine to play here. I'm like, oh, who's that? I'm all, they're
Never
really
mind.
popular. He's like, well, they are. I'm like, yeah, they don't got a lot going on. And he's like, I've never heard of them all. I guarantee you, ask anybody at this bar, they've heard of Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine. The guy next to like, yeah, I know about Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine. I'm like, you got to book them. He's like, I'll look them up. And that was the end of the conversation.
For where? The gun
For
club?
the gun club. They have little music on Fridays, Saturdays.
Ryan and Spencer love them to death. They're gullible little children.
I love them. I love Spencer. Ryan, you're all right, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan's a good guy. He's a good boy.
It's my shtick with him. All right, so now Cyrus has closed its doors.
It's true.
And where are we at now in Brian's life?
Sexual preference?
Have we gone? Have we met our new wife? I heard
No.
ex-wife.
No.
What's our current dating status right now?
Brian and I used to have a little bit we would do when people would call Cyrus because there's this huge interview when they would answer. They'd be like, "What was it?
But they wanted to know.
You were so good."
They were like, they call up and say, are there any dietary restrictions that we need to be aware of? You know, it was very scripted here,
Yeah.
the dietary restrictions. Are you celebrating anything? So we would know when they would come in. And then it was always, sexual preference.
Yeah.
I understand. It's really just a question, just a formality.
Would you really ask people that? Would you really
No, it
ask?
was an ongoing joke.
Oh,
I was gonna be like,
hilarious.
yeah, you celebrating anything? Any allergies? Sexual preference?
How do you-
Straight, sir. We do actually ask that you take this survey honestly. We're not just asking these questions for no reason, sir. Okay?
How do you feel about the blacks?
Yeah.
It's just a question.
They make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You can't come in.
Very good. This is good.
You can't come in.
We just want your experience to be more.
Fire 2 salmon, 1 mid-rare, 1 gay.
Have you ever had a gay fish? Delectable.
So good.
You know what's funny about the gay fish? Less calories,
Yeah, it's pretty.
but
There's
a
more
little
flowers on
pricey. A little more pricey.
it. So many offensive things. What do you think of this, Brian?
This is great. I love
I got the little
dry sodas.
Lagunitas.
Yeah, it's good.
Hot. Isn't it good? It has almost kind of like a peach kind of flavor.
Yeah,
A little bit.
Tastes like your vape.
Well,
Kind of a vapey
What are you
kind of.
talking
Like I'm
about?
drinking a vape. Is this vape
don't
juice
even
I'm
know what
drinking?
these are good. These are good.
I got the
the Jewel here.
It,
I got this at Forever 31.
it's hard to be tough.
2 for $10.
It's hard to be tough with that thing, though, isn't it?
What are you talking about?
I didn't
Peach.
even know.
A real man smokes peach.
You gotta
Do you change your vape flavors up?
No,
Or do
it's
you
always
just-
peach.
You always just do peach?
Always peach.
even
yeah.
with the seasons changing.
I did cucumber a little bit during the summer, and then like
Good for you.
first couple puffs it was good, and then I was like, this is too weird. So I went back to peach.
You have so many flavors to choose from because they're always talking about how bad they are for children, and they're like, oh, it's cotton candy.
No, kids will
oh,
love
it's
this.
Candy
Yeah.
apple.
Kids are gonna love this.
Yes, the peach one.
It's gonna come out in like 10 years. You're gonna like grow a third nut with those things or something. It can't be good
I
for you,
wish.
right?
I wish.
No, it's not good for you.
Do you get a caffeine?
You get a little nicotine thing.
Now
going,
you must be an old smoker. I'm assuming, right?
yeah. I'd say you.
How long did you smoke?
I smoked from the time I was like 16 till I was like 24.
Oh,
And then I quit for like 3 years, and then my mom started smoking these, and I'd get drunk. Like, Mom, I'll get a little hit of that, and now I'm back.
you get drunk with your
Good for
mom a
you.
lot?
Oh, no comment.
Okay, I was just asking.
Just getting drunk with
They own a
mom,
child
hitting the
care center
vape.
in Napa, so
Oh, that's right.
she's a saint.
So,
That was just in the paper.
Yeah, yeah.
I know it.
So, Bryan, not to get too personal, and you don't have to answer any of these questions.
All right.
Take your pants off.
But let's see your dick. No,
Everybody does
knew
this
it.
on
I
the show.
knew it.
I know that you don't drink. How long have you been not drinking? Was this never drink your whole lifetime situation, or like kind of spend all your tokens type situation?
I spent my tokens. I drank, and I think we're all given a certain amount, and I drank all of mine early on.
You went to go get your refund, and they're like, no, there's none left.
I drank an awful lot, and it didn't start out that way. I'll tell you guys the story.
I'd love to hear it.
Please.
So again, I was a bar drinker. I mean, that was what I loved to do. I loved going out to the bars in Atlanta. Bars open till 4. It was jukebox. It was shots. It was beer, and it was an awful lot of fun. And when I started it, there was probably hints of it, of like, oh, this might turn bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
But when I started at Cyrus,
fun right now. So
it was a
keep going.
blast. And then when I started at Cyrus, I remember calling my ex-wife, and she goes, "God, you sound so nerdy." I was nervous to start there. And she said, "Why don't you have a beer on the way to work?" I was coming from Katati, and so I started drinking a big Coors. Just sucked that down. And
Coors right.
Then I started doing 2, and I would just get so full. And but it took the edge off a little bit. And like a drink before work, it never really even occurred to me. I take that back. A martini house. I used to, because here I am, fresh off my restaurant closing, in a bit of a depression, and I thought, shit, I'm gonna go back to damn waiting tables.
Yeah.
And so I wanted whiskey, and so I would always like ring up Jim Beam neat, across, and so because the bartender had to get a chit, right?
Right.
And I couldn't just sneak it.
Yeah, right.
And so a little chit. So Jim Beam neat. This guy wants Jim Beam neat. I'd hide it on someone's check.
Is it the same guy? He's here all the time.
Because he's here all the time. Every damn shift Brian works.
This guy comes here a lot. He just requests you every time.
I would just get it. I'd walk down that hallway where the bathrooms are, and then bring the glass back. So, I mean, it started sort of there drinking at work a little bit more than just a glass of wine. Oh, look at this. Customer gave me a taste of wine, or I'm having some wine in a coffee cup. But so it started there. And then again, sort of those nerves sort of got the best of me. And it didn't really kick in until I think it's at some point I realized they sell those little bottles everywhere, right? I think at first I had pocket shots. You've seen those things? They're like Capri Suns full of vodka.
No.
You can fit them in your suit pocket.
It's like a
A
glass
shot
bottle.
of like whiskey, like
Vodka.
in a vodka. No, I've never seen those.
Like a Capri Sun vodka.
It's in like a Capri Sun pouch?
Yeah.
Again, marketing to the kids.
Yeah,
You guys are doing a great job out there.
That's exactly.
Peach cigarettes
it's
and
genius, man.
Capri Sun.
Are you a drunk on the go? We've got your thing.
Now you can.
Let me get a bag of vodka. Let me get a barely legal, a pack of smokes, and a bag of vodka.
Sir, there's some police outside that need to talk to you.
Ladies, I'm single.
Shocker.
Yeah. So, and then I found the little airplane bottles, and I would, I'll just give an abbreviated story. I ended up hiding them. I used to sneak them, and I probably told Nick and Doug this story. I used to sneak out, and I would, and I'm sure they suspected a little bit. Sometimes I'd sneak a shot. I'd run out to my car, and I thought, this is crazy. I'm going to get caught. And so my solution was, I'm going to hide them in my sock. And so I would hide little bottles in my sock. And we're not editing, right?
No.
We're not
No.
editing.
And
So
No,
don't
I'm just
say anything
imagining you
don't wanna-
walking around with all this booze in your socks.
yeah, it was. So it ended up being, like 2 and 2 in each sock. And one night, they're supposed to sort of last me through the night. And then one night, I forgot how many I had drank, and I was probably visibly drunk on the floor. And I got sent home. And in my stupor, I was probably pretty defiant too. Screw you, man! I'm fucking drunk. And then they suspended me for a couple of weeks, and I went and sort of made a couple of admissions and said I probably have a bit of a problem. And then I started going into a program, started going to AA, and
How was that for you the first time you went to that?
I wasn't convinced.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
But I did that, and I sort of convinced her. I'm sober. I'm not AA sober. But I went back to Cyrus. They welcomed me back in arms. It was awesome. Those guys they saw me my best and my worst.
I was just going to ask.
I was employee of the year that first year. These guys are true friends, and I love them dearly. I would do anything for Nick and Doug. They did. They saw me in my best and my worst. They took me back. They embraced me, and then they said we're closing, and I said, "Fuck, all bets are off now."
Yeah.
And I didn't even think at the closing party I started. I think I shotgunned a beer.
Oh, dude.
48 years old.
I think I actually led that
Yeah.
party because I remember I went up to Doug and I was like, can be an intimidating guy to work for at times, but he's really just such a great human being. Like, he's hilarious. It's like, Chef, you want to shotgun a beer? He's like, yep. I was like, whoa, I'm going to shotgun a beer with Doug King. So then I think other people saw it, but pretty sure I led the.
So I hit that up, and then when Cyrus closed, I just had to go around. It was the same sort of experience I had when my restaurant closed.
That's what I was thinking.
I had this feeling of like I lost all this identity. What am I? I was a Cyrus waiter, and I had this vision of me walking around town still in my Cyrus suit. That's the guy over there. Look at him,
yellow tie,
just dirty pants.
Yeah,
now.
own it.
He was fucking employee of the year the first year. Look at him now. What a pathetic. God, just the town crazy. That's what it turned into. And so I got jobs at Campofino and Barn Diva and Parish. And I got fired from 2 jobs. I'd never been fired before. And it was for drinking.
I was going to ask, yeah.
And it had been sort of this, this dramatic fall from grace of again, working at a 2-star Michelin restaurant to unemployable in Healdsburg. And it was fucking sad. But I hung on to the Parish job. And so now I didn't have any other jobs. So I told Bradley, I said, you guys have Bradley on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
love
good,
Brad.
good friend
Turned
of the
out to
show.
be a great, just a dear friend.
Having a baby, right? Soon?
Yeah. It's, same as you.
Yeah, same month.
Right? November.
Mid-November.
And
I'm late November. But.
so that's kind of weird.
Dude, and we got married on the same
married
day.
on the same day.
Yeah, and we're having a baby, I think, on the same day.
weird.
Fingers crossed, Bradley.
Yes.
You guys should just get married.
You guys both claim me as your best friend, which is kind of weird too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of gay.
Yeah.
That's so gay.
No, it's only gay. And you're thinking about it wrong.
Happy gay.
It always goes gay for me.
Yeah, me too.
So then I told Bradley, I said, look, I finally had 3 days off in a row, and I thought, I had heard that's how long it takes for this stuff to leave your body. And I'm going to do this thing, man. Hell yeah. And that was just, I thought I could do it by myself, and I couldn't. I got smacked down. Again, you got to keep in mind, I wasn't a social drinker at this point. When I had come clean at Cyrus and told people I had a problem with alcohol, that meant I couldn't go to the bar anymore.
It was out in the open.
Yeah, so I couldn't drink in front of people. So now I'm drinking at home.
I was going to ask, where did because home feels like that's where a lot of the damage really goes down.
When
then you have no
you're
limits.
morning drinking, and at the end of it all, I was an hourly drinker. That's just what I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I had 3 days off, and the first day was horrible. Second day, my brother was coming up to see me, and I didn't want him to see how I was living. So I said, I'll meet you at the Flying Goat. And so I met him up there at the Flying Goat, and we ended up getting some iced coffee. I said, I'll buy. And he asked me to pick him up a cookie, too. And so all of a sudden, I had 3 things to carry, and I couldn't do it. And so it was two days into drying out. I'd never had this before. And
you were DTing really bad, weren't you?
Yeah. And then,
So you couldn't hold him like you were shaking?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy. And then we went to sit on a park bench. He helped me out. He was trying to convince me to move in with him. This is a Monday. It was October 4th, a Monday. Trying to convince me to move in with him. And I said, Andy, that sounds great. But can we do it on Thursday? Like even still, I had
still
a plan.
pushing off. Yep.
I got a plan. I'm in charge of this. And at that point, I had a full blown seizure on Healdsburg Square.
Wow.
And that's when I think that's the guy. That's the guy who worked at Cyrus. Look at him.
Wow,
Jesus Christ, flopping on the ground like a goddamn fish.
Wow, that's crazy.
And
man.
then I woke up in the hospital and I looked at my brother and said, "Take me home. I'm done." And that's when it really began. And again, I just embraced it. I said, well, I don't know what I was hanging on to, and for me, it works. I'm fucking so much happier. I'm so much more comfortable in my skin. I don't drink. I wear it pretty proudly.
I know I told you when you first got here, but you look great, man. That's why I was like,
Thanks.
Are you doing yoga or something? Like, what the fuck's going on?
So it's and I just celebrated 3 years, and like I said, I've done events with Nick and Doug. I helped them open 2 birds, 1 stone. It's a gift, and the people at Parish too, because the first 2 years I've been at Parish almost since they opened. I came in 3 months after they opened. That's what I did.
Just came right in.
Well, I'm really proud of you, man. That is not. People say, "Oh, just quit drinking," but
No,
you don't just quit drinking. It's very hard. It's socially, it's everywhere. And how is it now for you 3 years out being in a situation, heck, even being on this podcast. This podcast is a debauchery.
Yeah,
But what's it like for you? Are you okay? Do you have to leave situations if you feel
you
uncomfortable?
okay,
Adam, you can hold Adam.
Oh, I forgot we're recording the after.
No, I've gone out and played cards. I played cards, and I just don't even think about it. Really,
That's great.
Some of those things that they say, and I know that this is a bar story, and I've heard Mike on the show and Erica and all these people. It's a restaurant show too. You guys talking about,
Oh yeah, it's not just
industry
drinking,
show. Yeah, it's
I'm
not just
a
bar.
restaurant guy, and I have stories and how we used to party. And like I said, I was a big bar drinker. To me, again, I just turned 51. I mean, I just don't. At some point, like, what am I trying to do?
You look 48
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
and a half.
Sort of a kind of compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gee whiz.
I'm here for you.
Gee whiz, Mr. Miles.
Wow,
So,
that's a pretty incredible story, man.
So I don't miss it for me. There were sometimes, certainly in the beginning, and Parish is like this. It's a New Orleans place. I mean, I seen like at noon, hey, we're gonna all do a Bloody Mary. It's like, come on, you guys.
Yeah, those guys are all coming from Mardi Gras and shit.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? I'm all right with it. It's not for me. And I even think, it's not an anti-alcohol stance. It's anti-alcohol for me. I can't do it because I know where it will take me. It took me to a real dark place in my own life, and I'm better for not doing it.
I'm proud of you, man.
So,
You smoke a little
Yeah.
weed?
No.
Okay. Me either. I'm just saying.
Brian's like, but I do a lot of heroin.
Yeah.
Heroin that's what
Crack.
I do.
If crack was on the table,
Yeah.
I'd be down.
Well, that's awesome, man. What's the craziest bar story you've encountered? As an
Did you
ex,
just tell it to
as
us?
an ex, as
That
an
wasn't
ex-
good enough, guys. I'd pour my heart and soul out here.
I loved it.
I
If you
don't know.
feel comfortable. I mean, of course.
Well, no, Adam. I had
Again,
said,
take your pants off.
I had said,
Sorry.
yeah, give me the address, give me the time, and any instructions. He goes, well, if you had a bar story, that's pretty good. It's the name of the goddamn show, right?
Is that how it came out?
Yeah.
Texts are
At least
weird like
that's
that.
the way I read it.
What an asshole.
That's the way I wrote it, so that's good.
I don't know what tone it was sent, but I certainly know what tone it was read in.
It was all in
Fucking
caps.
Just reading it. Yeah, fuck me, right? Okay.
That's the way I read it. A bar story, durr. Trying to bring back that word, you guys, durr. If you guys could make that happen.
What is this, 1990? I
Stop
like
trying to make Durr a thing.
No, durr.
No dir, bro.
I thought about it, and I mean, do I have I just was a bar drinker. I love the bar. That was what I liked to do. I love playing the jukebox. When I think about the B&B and closing that place down, I remember going to this. You remember the Black Cat in Pengrove?
I never went there, no.
Me either. But the B&B was the shit.
Yeah.
I used to light black cats and they explode little fireworks.
The Black Cat was, I think, a tough lesbian bar in Pengrove. And when I lived in Cotati, we'd go there and see music, and we'd get. I think their beer was with B&B was Oli.
Yeah.
What was theirs? It was something like that. It was like
So this is like their house
PBR.
beer.
or
yeah, a can.
something.
It wasn't PBR, but it was in that vein. A can of beer that I
Yeah.
don't even think they'd opened it for. And then they kind of ran out. It was what was it?
It's like a Chinese
Hams.
Hams.
restaurant. Oh, I remember
Hams. I
hams.
love hams.
Hands. And at some point they say, well, it's only warm, and we'd say, just give me a glass of ice, I guess. I mean, what am I trying to do?
Hams on the rocks.
I ask you who the female is here. This Brenda. Come on. So we'd get
glass.
this, and I mean, they were like,
Oh my
it was
God.
$2 hams, and I remember my brother there, and it was at the end of it all, it was like a $42 bar test. We were only drinking. I mean, how many do we have? Did we have
What is it, $2 of hams?
$2 beers? Like, do we have 20? Did we just drink 20 beers? Holy shit! I mean, they went down.
We
like
got to go
water.
drive away from here now.
Jesus.
I mean, that was awesome.
So that's when you Rochambeau for who's driving. Just flip a coin. Like, are you boys okay? You want to ride home?
Have you ever given anyone a ride home?
Oh, yeah.
Like regulars?
No, I never did that for regulars, but I remember at Cyrus
We did that.
Yeah,
quite a
we
few
used to do that
times.
all the time. Nick was actually super adamant about it, like, because you could never find a cab there, and Uber wasn't a thing
Because
then.
it's,
or
yeah,
Lyft.
yeah.
And they'd be like, hey, like, we can't find a ride to our hotel. You guys have been great. Thanks. I'm like, hey, we'll give you a ride home. And it was just like the icing on the cake, man.
Yeah.
And then you get into Magic's car and it just smells like weed. And then they're out asking where they can find weed. And we styled you out at Cyrus.
Yeah.
Sorry you missed
are
it.
they supposed to tip you after they you give them a ride home?
You're not. I
No,
mean,
but if
it's
you're the
not-
guy that took it, he didn't have to do side work. It
Yeah.
was always like screw that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
And
I
he'd-
had such a shitty
And
car.
he'd always go like kicking and screaming too, like I got to give these guys a ride home. But in his head, he was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to the bar.
I couldn't do it because I had little.
Oh.
I had little
see
bottles
what
of
it
vodka
is.
floating around my bag. I couldn't really give them.
You guys cozy back there?
Hey, Brian, can I borrow some socks? Can I borrow some socks, Brian?
Oh, Jesus. That's amazing. That's a pretty good bar story. 20 beers, huh?
That was fun. But B&B was a great dive bar. Certainly
Dude,
when it was right there.
Oh, my God. It was amazing. It was
And
my favorite. It's just different now.
Yeah, and again, I go into John and Zeke's. I've been in there. I've gone there for parties, or I've gone and played cards there. But it's the B&B between when John and Zeke's was on the square, and the B was always I just thought that was a great.
Me too.
A great dive bar.
That was like my
The
bar.
new one, they built a new B&B with its own building.
Yeah.
It kind of smells like popcorn too much in there for me.
It's just kind of a weird
It's
location.
got a
for me.
popcorn smell.
I think it
Yeah.
might be like someone vaping popcorn.
Is it a vape
Vape smell.
popcorn?
It's not peach.
There's just a smell in there that I don't really like too much. So let me ask you this about bars, Adam. This is I'm gonna throw in, and Brian, throw in you're a
We're
bar
gonna do
guy
it,
too.
yes. Hands on buzzers.
That's right.
So there's two types of bars, and I don't know the difference. I don't know how you explain it to you, but some bars I go into the Gun Club, and you have a cocktail menu and like all these crazy local stuff and fresh ingredients and shit like that. And then I go down to the street. There's this new bar I've been trying, the Sawmill here in Cloverdale, and you go in and they've got airport bar and no menu. What do you want?
Yeah.
I kind of what is that? And the B&B's a little bit like that too. What do you want? And I'm like, what do you have? What is
No menu.
no menu?
Yeah, yeah.
What's the difference between those two type of bars? Obviously, one's higher end and better, but what is there like a?
Well, one is like, so I would describe my bar as like a neighborhood cocktail bar. And I don't say it's like a super fancy, like it's sort of in between. You know what I mean?
think
Like,
the Gun Club's pretty fancy.
is it?
I find it very fancy.
Okay. But we have kind of like a relaxed vibe. Like, I don't know. I kind of want a little dive bar vibe in there. You're not getting that?
Well, you guys are kind of cool. No, I'm not going to dive bar
Well,
at
you
all.
guys
All
are-
right. I
you
guess
guys
I'm
are
too cool. I
cool.
guess I'm
I
cooler than I
don't
thought I was.
get. Do you get?
But,
I walk in the B&B.
When Gun Club opened, I was newly sober, and I thought, why did it open now? I mean, it was Bash Negronis. It was like and not cold pizza on the menu. I thought this is so
Yeah,
freaking-
yeah. I just mean we're
this
not
was
like
cool.
we're not reinventing the wheel over there. We do like a lot of we do like seasonal craft cocktails and stuff because a lot of people want that kind of stuff. But we also have like call drinks that we just take a little bit more like extra special care of.
I think the B&B, if you were to go to there, they expect you to know what you're drinking there. You're going to
Get a
drink
shot and a beer.
Give me a shot and a beer. Give me a highball. Give me a gin and tonic. Give me what I drink. You're not looking for them to really
For
convince
James
you.
would be vodka cran.
See what
Two
I
limes.
feel like I'm just lost in those bars because I've been going to Adam's bar, I've been going to these other higher end bars, and they're like, "What do you want them all?" I don't know. And then I get the gin and tonic, and then like the tonic fucking sucks, and I'm like, "This is sad." And
Tonic
then
is a game
And
changer.
then they give me a short cup with a really long straw, and I'm like,
Like,
I don't know if you're supposed to eat straws anymore or drink straws anymore.
well, the paper straws, you can't eat them.
Well,
I don't like the new paper straws. I know this has been
Brian.
brought up many times, but I don't like the paper straws.
I hate to break it
I
to you
suppose
guys.
it'll make a turd, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
You could eat turds to make a turd.
but the thing, the law, as it read, and this was silly, is with the straws, is it's punishable. And I believe that the ban went through, but I don't know if it's a law yet. But the ban or the way it read was it's $1,200 fine and up to 6 months in jail for the waiter.
What?
If he brings you a straw without
That
you
can't be
asking.
real.
And that was what the guy wanted to do, and I thought, shit. Clearly, I made some poor decisions in my life to get me to where I am now, a waiter at the parish. The last thing I need to be doing is hard time.
That's ridiculous.
fine.
Put it on the waiter
Yeah, the waiter. If he
What's
just
the deal?
brings-
Is it getting stuck in the turtles' mouths?
in the nose.
In the nose?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's getting stuck in every
I would
orifice.
just think
but-
use a rolled up bill.
Why
Why are they not?
Why are they?
Why are they still using
Those
straw?
turtles party a little too hard. And that's on them.
Yeah.
Why are the straws going into the ocean? Why don't we talk about that?
'Cause
Because
we're-
I throw stuff away all day
'cause we're
long in the
disgusting
garbage.
creatures.
No. But then the garbage man comes.
You think
Puts
the
his
garbage
little-
man's just throwing it in the ocean?
You think he's doing a drive-by and throwing just straws into the ocean? What's happening from the dump to the ocean?
It seems like it'd be a lot of work to separate all the straws.
Why are we
and then throw them
being-
into the ocean?
Why are we being punished?
Why are we being punished for bad garbage manning? What the fuck?
I'm fully in support of no straws. That's what I want to do.
Right.
No straws.
Yeah, but there's certain drinks where I like the straw.
Yeah, but you have to give that up. I mean, you want the turtles to live or not, James?
James,
That's
on you,
careful.
bro.
Be careful of
Be
your
careful,
next word.
James. That's on you,
Yes.
bro.
We need to bring a garbage man in here and find out what the fuck's going on. Why are the straws going to the ocean?
Let's go find one.
go
Kick
do
his
it.
ass.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Explain
if I want
later.
Garbage men are kind of angry.
Do we do traffic on the 8s?
Yeah, well, right now, Cloverdale, there's no traffic.
Going live to Bryan Bergman for the news. It's your boy.
That's a helicopter. It's not a
I like
machine
it.
gun.
I didn't know.
You trying to do this?
Go to the phone? No.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's good, too.
Hi, this is Chat Me Nom coming in.
Jesus Christ, we're starting to sound like a bunch of monkeys.
Yeah, let's just stop it.
Brian, thank you so much for coming on, dude. Seriously,
Yeah,
I love you, man.
I love you too, buddy.
Thank you for sharing that story. That was pretty epic, man.
Thank you.
And I'm sure there's people out there that have been curious too. So
They don't see me around anymore.
they don't see you around anymore.
They knew you back at the park days.
That was good.
Thanks for doing this such short notice too. I
Absolutely,
really
man.
appreciate it. You were like our 5th choice, and I'm just kidding.
Actually, it's pretty organic because I was sitting at the Parish Cafe having breakfast. I'm like,
Yeah, he
hey,
couldn't
Brian,
dodge
when
you.
are you my bar story? He's like, whenever you want. I'm like, what are you doing in a couple hours? Want to
Yeah.
come over? So that's how this all
My
happened.
car doesn't work. I'll give you a ride.
Adam's sending you a text right now.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Jesus. Well, I gotta. We know you're not open at night.
Yeah.
Get in the
No,
car.
listen. There would have been a time I could have thought of like, oh, I gotta lie to them. Yeah, I wanted to do it. I think you guys are funny. I think you guys are doing something really awesome. I love that you're doing it. When I look at, it's funny because I think about all the people that we worked with, right? And you look at Coach who said, I'm going to be a bodybuilder. I'm going to fucking do that. And he did that.
Yeah.
Cynthia's going to be a photographer. You know, everyone's having kids. Everyone's doing stuff. You did this, man. This is awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thanks.
I mean, that you guys have a following. Certainly a following here. You got picked up by Google. You got picked up. We're on the YouTube now.
Anywhere podcasts are found.
And I think that's awesome. And like I say, in the past, I would have thought of a lie to get out of it. But the truth is, I'm really, this is awesome. I'm
I
happy to be part of
appreciate it,
it.
man. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Brian.
Thanks for not coming up with a lie to get out of it. Old friends. What are they
Yeah.
for, right? Check out the Parish Cafe, everybody, as always. Thanks for tuning
Yeah.
in.
Adam, today's podcast is brought to you by the New Alchemy Distilling.
New Alchemy Distilling?
New Alchemy Distilling.
New Alchemy Distilling crafts handmade spirits, including the Ether Vodka, distilled from local wine, Arborist, Floret, and Floret Vermilion Gin.
Let's not forget about the White Devil Unaged. Unaged, there's no age. Rye whiskey. All gins are made from local wines. Local, man, right down the fucking street. And a vapor path distilled to ensure only the smoothest, what, Adam? The smoothest, brightest flavors.
Handmade, hand-bottled, and hand-delivered. Try some at your local bars and pick some up at your local markets.
Now also available at Oliver's Market, Adam. Where?
Oliver's Market!
Save money on plane tickets to New Orleans and have Louisiana food right here in Sonoma County. Did you know you could do that, Adam? Right here. Fresh and local ingredients. Visit www.parishcafe.com for hours and menu. You know what they got locations? You know what they got them, Adam? They got it in healdsburg and they got it in Santa Rosa. Oh, hey buddy, you're not living until you eat the Parish Cafe. If you don't eat the Parish Cafe, you're fucking dead. So get over there right now, unless they're not open, because then that's breaking and entering, and that's a fucking felony.